Hey there everyone, my name is Marley and welcome to my booktube channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be returning to this video idea I've done a couple times in the past where I randomly pick a book character from this mug. I put a bunch of them in there and then I'm going to kind of analyze the character and decide which zodiac sign they would be based on their personality. As I said, I've done this a couple times in the past, so I'll link those videos below. I just think it's kind of a fun thing to do. I'm into astrology. I know certain signs better than others. I just always have a fun time doing this video and it's been a while since I've done it. This is my cute Twitter mug, which I guess is no longer relevant because the bird is gone. Rest in peace. I'm also just getting over a cold, so sorry if you can hear that in my voice and hear the stuffiness. But let's just get into it. I obviously do know all the book characters I put in here, but it's just kind of fun to draw them out randomly. And these are all from books that I have read recently, so the characters are more like fresh in my mind. And if you're not familiar with like the zodiac signs, they're separated into 4 categories. So there's fire, earth, water, and air. They are all distinctive, but obviously if they're in the same element, they all have some similar traits. So the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The air signs are Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. And the water signs are Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So let's see who the first character is going to be. Okay, so starting out interestingly, we have Nurse Ratchet. She is from In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. I haven't talked about this video on my channel yet because I just read it this month. Nurse Ratchet is actually a robot. She's a robot nurse. She's actually a hilarious character. Like, I would honestly recommend reading this book for her character because she's so funny. Obviously, her role as a nurse is to take care of people and she'll turn on her like empathetic phase, but also she's like really harsh and kind of like mean and always threatening to like drill people and hurt people, but she's really just passionate about the people that she loves, like Victor, our main character in that book, and Rambo. Oh gosh, what sign would she be? Okay, I kind of want to say an Aries for her just because she has such a big personality. I do feel like she would be a fire sign, and the reason I say Aries is because I know Aries have a temper, and I feel like Nurse Ratchet can get kind of like feisty and mad, but also they are the leaders of the zodiac sign, or the first sign in the zodiac, and I feel like she kind of is like the leader of the group in this book. I know Victor like kind of is a leader, but honestly they would have gotten nowhere without Nurse Ratchet, so I'm gonna say Aries for her, but I would definitely be interested to see what you guys think if you've read the book. Okay, next up we have Brianna from Yours Truly. So this is the main like heroine in the romance book Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. She is a doctor. Okay, immediately I'm getting like fire or water energy from her because she does feel things very intensely. She's very passionate about her job, her friendships, her family. Her brother's going through a rough time in this. She's also very like loyal and a good friend. She helps out Jacob with the fake dating aspect in this romance. I'm getting Cancer vibes from her. That's what my gut's gonna say. Cancer is one of those signs I don't know as well. I don't actually know that many Cancers in real life, so I feel like it's a sign I haven't got to know as well, but I know they're pretty like intuitive, but they can also be like closed off and stuff, and I feel like Brianna closes herself off a little bit. She does feel things very fiercely, so I think she'd be a Cancer. Then we have Nate from the One of Us is Lying series. Is that easy for me to grab? No, it's not. Okay, so I just recently read the 3rd book in this series, One of Us is Back. But basically Nate in the beginning of the series is like the bad boy whose parents I think are like addicts. They're not very supportive. He lives in maybe like the lower income like side of town. He has to, I think, deal drugs to get money for himself, like that kind of archetype, very like broody. I'm a little bit conflicted on his character, but I think I'm going to say Virgo for him because I feel like he really makes the best out of his situation and he's like always working and always hustling, so it gives like earth sign energy, whether that was selling drugs or, you know, in the most recent book I read, he's working multiple jobs to pay for his way in life, and so I feel like that shows his like hard work ethic, which could fit for a Virgo. They're very like practical, and they're also the more, I see them more as like the quieter of the earth signs, and I think Nate, he is kind of like a quiet old soul, so that's what I'm thinking for him. All right, I love when we get such a diverse crew here in these videos. Next we have Ramona from the Beartown series by Frederick Bachman. So Ramona is like the barkeep, like she owns the bar in Beartown, and because of that she's like very well liked by everyone, very well loved. She'll tell you like it is. She's very supportive but also can be very like blunt and harsh. Okay, I'm sort of between a Cancer and a Scorpio for her because I think she is kind of a emotions driven, emotional person, but she's also very tough, and I think she can be like a little bit mysterious. That's the main word for Scorpio for me that stands out, is being like mysterious and kind of closed off. And I feel like she knows so much about other people, but we don't really know as much about her from what I remember. They're also like very determined and ambitious and obsessive is what it's saying on here, and she owns her own business. Like she's obviously ambitious and determined and stuff, and doesn't shy away from the darker side of life. So I think that fits. I think that fits for Ramona. Next character is going to be Buddy Lee from Razorblade Tears. So this is a book about two dads who are trying to like avenge their sons, and Buddy Lee is definitely the more like funny, lighthearted, just fun of the two dads, but he also is like an alcoholic or drug addict or something. Like he has his own issues and stuff and his own like haunted past, but he kind of like makes the most of it and like finds the humorous side of it, I guess. And he does start out pretty ignorant in the beginning of the book, but he is open to like learning and stuff by the end. I think I'm gonna say Sagittarius for him because Sagittariuses have that great energy that he's bringing, that upbeat optimism that he has, but there's also like that deeper side to them of that being open to learn and try new things, which I feel like Buddy Lee is. And they just like to be free and stuff like that, and I think that really fits him and how he lives his life. So Buddy Lee is gonna be a Sagittarius. Okay, drawing the next name. Okay, now we have Rambo from In the Lives of Puppets. So Rambo is also a robot similar to Nurse Ratchet. They were both found and sort of saved by Victor. Rambo is more of like the opposite of Nurse Ratchet. He's more like, he's a small little vacuum. He's more like innocent, but also like rambunctious, like loves to talk and has a lot of high energy and stuff and just wants to help. But sometimes it's like, Rambo, you need to calm down. Okay, I think honestly for Rambo, I maybe say a Gemini because similar to Sagittarius, they are pretty social and chatty, which I think fits Rambo. As this says online, they're bubbly socialite butterflies. I think that fits him. Amicable, easy to get along with, zesty personality. I think those things definitely fit for Rambo. He definitely has to be one of these more like airy, fun signs. So I think we're gonna go Gemini for him. I love having no repeats. This is fun. Oh, okay, now we have Gansey from The Raven Cycle. I actually just recently read the second book in the series, and I knew I was doing this video, and I was really struggling with like what I wanted to give Gansey as a zodiac sign, because I feel like we know him, but there's also a lot more to learn about his personality. And in the second book, which I just read, we didn't focus on him as much as I wanted us to. I'm actually torn between two signs for him. So I'll tell you the first one. I think he could be like a Libra, which is actually my sign, because they're very much about like keeping the peace and keeping equality, because he's very much the peacemaker in this kind of like rowdy group that we're following, especially with the Lynch brothers. He's definitely more like the mediator between them, which is very Libra. He's also very like charming and good with people, which is another Libra quality. But what I think I want to say for him instead is a Pisces, because the biggest thing that stands out to me about Pisces is that they are very much like in their own head, like living in like a fantasy world. They don't really love to be like in reality. They'd rather be in like fantasy kind of thing. And they're very like sensitive and intuitive. I think that really fits for Gansey with his whole quest of finding Glendower, the long lost Welsh king. Like this is his obsession. He's just obsessed with this kind of fantasy and dream that he has about finding this king and getting the wish that you supposedly get when you find him. So I think he kind of is living in his own little dream reality in a certain extent. I do feel like he's pretty like sensitive and stuff, and as I said, intuitive to like everyone else's feelings around him. So I'm actually going to say Pisces for Gansey. Then we have Brendan from Hang the Moon. Okay, so this is a romance book I read in the last couple months. I didn't love it. He is the main guy in this romance. Okay, his character was definitely more of the outgoing, optimistic type of character again. He is just so set on winning over Annie and like convincing her to stay in the same town as him because he's had this like little boy crush on her since he was younger. But then he's also very, I guess, smart as well, as he did start his own successful business that he's running, and he's like always trying to make the business better. It's like a dating app, and he's always like interested in the data and like improving his business and his app. You know what? I'm gonna say Brendan is a Leo because that's one of the fire signs. So, you know, they're the more like out there, energetic, passionate ones. So that fits him. I don't love Brendan, and I feel like he can be a little bit like self-centered. Like he was so focused on getting Annie to live where he lived, and I feel like he was thinking more about like himself and what he wanted rather than like what she wants. And Leos are known to be a little bit self-centered. No offense if you're a Leo, but that's kind of like one of their qualities, so that kind of fits. Again, I am using like sources online, but like it says that they do like to spread joy and charm, so that still fits for his personality being outgoing and him trying to help others find love with his app. They're very like entertaining and sunny, so I think that does fit him. Confidence, etc. Ambitious, it even says. So he's definitely a Leo. These videos are always just me listing out adjectives about people. Then okay, we have another one of us is lying characters, and it's going to be Addison. So in the first book, she is more of the popular girl, part of the popular crowd. She's dating a popular boy who is actually very like rude and toxic to her, but she's also a very flawed character, especially in the beginning. But in the newest book I just read, I actually really like her character. She really grows a lot in the series, and she is a very like loyal friend. I think we might have a repeat here. I think I might say that she is a Cancer. I feel like I have a tendency when I don't know, I say Cancer, but I can see her as a water sign. I feel like she's very like emotions driven, but she also is like very loyal, as I said, a good friend, protective. It says on here that Cancers can be very like maternal figures, and I feel like Addison in a way kind of becomes not the mother of the group necessarily. That's probably more Bronwyn, but she does become more of like a leader in the group and is someone that really like connects everyone together in this little friend group in the book. Caring and warm, and I think she does develop into more of that type of character as the books go on. So we're gonna say Addie is a Cancer. Then I pulled Blue, also from the Raven cycle. So she was more of the female main character in the first book, and again, she kind of was off to the sidelines a little more in the second book than I would have liked. I would have liked to get to know her better, but again, I've been thinking about this recently, and I do think she would be an earth sign. She grew up in such a hectic environment, but she was always kind of the more level-headed one in her family and in her house. She also is a pretty hard worker. She's, you know, waitressing while in high school, working hard, you know. I would say Taurus because I feel like she's stubborn, but Tauruses are way more homebodies than her. She's still kind of like more adventurous. So I would maybe say like a Capricorn for her because they're ambitious. I feel like they're not as like quiet and meek as like a Virgo, because I don't think she's like that either. So I think she would probably be a Capricorn because yeah, they're also very like disciplined, realistic, and sort of like mature and wise. And I think she definitely is like that, especially being raised by all of these women around her, like her mother and her aunts. I feel like she kind of offers that to the group. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Capricorn. Then we have Bradley from Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is a YA romance contemporary. Bradley is cool. So he has some issues with like OCD, stuff like that, but he's actually quite mature for his age. He's been going to therapy for years. He's very like focused on school, ambitious. Yeah, I just think maybe more of like the mature one between him and Celine, his love interest. I think I'm gonna go with another repeat here and say that he is a Virgo, because I feel like being so good at school and having all these hobbies, like he's giving that work ethic that earth signs have, but then he also is like a little bit more quieter. He's not super in your face. Also, Virgos can be judgy, and I feel like he's a little bit judgy with Celine sometimes, and like their banter, he's kind of like judging her for being so kind of out there. But yeah, practical, grounded, sensible, I think that all really fits him. This also says that they're on a quest to like help others, and I feel like he low-key does like help others, like his friends and stuff, including Celine. So now let's get more air signs. Where's a Libra? Okay, now we have Celine, so his partner in crime in this book. So Celine is definitely more of a go by the beat of your own drum kind of person. So she definitely does not fit in as well as Bradley, who is more popular. She's not afraid to, have her own TikTok account where she talks about conspiracy theories. She's not afraid to kind of like be abrasive with people, even if they don't necessarily like her. Immediately, I'm thinking like a fire sign. I'm thinking maybe even Aries, because I feel like she can be a leader. That's kind of the whole point of this book, that they go on this retreat. I think it's like a leadership retreat actually, where they're trying to win a scholarship and blah blah blah. But I feel like she is pretty good at being the leader, sticking her neck out when she has to. And I feel like she also has that anger that Aries are known for as well, that temper. So I'm gonna say Aries for her. All right, still waiting for that Libra. Then I put Nico from the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. And most recently I read the book The Sun and the Star, which is about Nico and his boyfriend Will. So Nico was always a more like broody type of guy. He had like his own issues he was dealing with, traumas that he was dealing with. So I'm getting water signs. I'm getting a water sign. I'm getting like a Scorpio, because I feel like, he's a son of Hades. I feel like he has that darkness that Scorpios are known to have, that darker side. He's a little more mysterious. It takes quite a few books to kind of dig in deep to his character and find out what's really going on with him. So it's a little bit more of a stereotype, like giving a darker character the Scorpio sign, but that's just what came to my head right away. So I'm not going to overthink it. We're going to give him a Scorpio. Then we have Benji Ovich. He is also from the Beartown series. Benji, how do I describe him? I mean, he is like my favorite character from the series. He's like one of the most compelling. In the first book, so I've read the first two books. I think in the first book, he is one of the more popular guys in town, one of the more popular hockey players. He's like a pretty big, tough guy. I think he is mysterious to a lot of people, but you get to know him in more of his like personal life, and you see that he's really close with his sisters. He has that softer side, being raised by women. He's really sweet with, his niece and nephew, and you actually find out more about his sexuality that he kind of keeps a secret. So I'm really torn between two things here, but I think I'm going to go with Pisces, because I think as much as he gives off this tough exterior, I think we know if we've read the book that he is really, really sensitive. And I feel like Pisces are one of the most sensitive signs. They're also very like kind and caring, which I definitely think he is to his family, and the whole being in their own little dream world. I think that can apply to Benji. Like, he's always going off into the woods. He's always in his own head. But the other one I was torn between was Taurus, kind of because we haven't had a Taurus yet, but I feel like he does have that stubbornness and kind of homebodiness. But I'm gonna go with Pisces for him, but he's very complex, so it's hard to say. Now we have Annie from Hang the Moon. I kind of wish I didn't put these characters in here. I feel like that book didn't stick with me. Annie is the love interest to Brendan in Hang the Moon. She, you know what? I'm immediately thinking of something, but she doesn't really know what she wants from her life. She's stuck in this job where she's very like successful and gets to travel a lot, but it's not necessarily fulfilling her or what she wants. She's really into like linguistics and like learning about different languages and stuff. So the first thing I thought of was maybe she's our Libra because of the indecisiveness, because that's a big thing with Libras, very bad at making decisions. But I don't know if she fits like the other criteria. The curiosity thing still gives me like an air sign vibe though, so maybe she will be our Libra, because she does have her own like kind of charm, and I do think she is craving that balance in her life that she doesn't have with so much travel and stuff like that. She wants more of a balance. That's what she's kind of craving throughout the book, which is what Libras need. So whatever, we're gonna say Annie. Miss Annie is gonna be our first Libra here, and with Brendan being a Leo, that's actually a good fit. They are compatible. Now, Jacob from Yours Truly. So we already talked about Brianna. So Jacob is her love interest in Yours Truly. He's very sweet. He's very sensitive. He has, again, his own issues. He has a lot of anxiety. I think that was his main thing. But he's super nurturing, like super nice. Like, everyone that I see read this book, I think they love him. Like, he's such a good guy. Like, I'm gonna say Cancer again. I feel like I always end up giving out so many Cancers. I feel like a lot of book characters just are like this. Like, as I was saying, really nice, really kind, nurturing, kind of emotional, in touch with their emotions, taking care of the ones they love. We know that he does this with Brianna and with her family, and offering to donate his, I think it was his kidney in the book. Likes cooking. I'm pretty sure he likes cooking as well. So anyways, I think we have to say he's a Cancer. I know we're having a lot of them, but Oh, I had put Brianna as a Cancer too. All right, moving on. We have Victor from In the Lives of Puppets. We finally got to Victor. So he is the human boy in this book. He's the one that created these robots or brought them back to life. He is going through his own journey here because he is like the only human in this world of robots. He also deals with a lot of anxiety and figuring himself out. You know, he's pretty young in the book. Or not pretty young, he's like 21, but yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm also leaning towards this sign because we haven't had one yet. And I'm gonna say Aquarius for Victor. And the reason for that, okay, so Aquariuses beat to the rhythm of their own drum. I feel like that's him. Like, he kind of stands out. He's not like the other humans. Forward thinkers, innovators, constantly, I know I'm just reading this off, constantly looking towards the next big thing, deeply concerned with the collectives. I mean, he literally is an inventor. Like, he creates this, whatever, I don't want to spoil the book, but he creates this like heart that like gives life to these robots. And so I feel like that's very like Aquarius. Like, he really cares about the world, humanity, intellectual, progressive, independent, idealistic, unique vision of the world. I'm just reading this out, but I don't know, I feel like that works for him, and I just don't feel strongly about any other sign. So again, let me know what you think about that though. All right, we're down to our final couple. I know this is getting long. Simon from One of Us is Lying. Okay, I put this in for fun. So if you don't know, Simon is not a huge character in the One of Us is Lying series, but he is sort of the catalyst, and his presence is felt throughout the whole series because he is this boy who, he's not popular. He's more of an outcast. He kind of brings that on himself in a way because he has this app or website where he shares people's secrets. So that definitely pisses off a lot of people. He is not afraid to make people mad. He is the one that dies at the beginning of the first book because, well, I'm not going to tell you why. That's like part of the reveal, but he's the one that like the other characters are accused of like murdering him because they were all in detention together. So a lot of the story focuses on him and like, why would someone want to kill Simon? Like, he has a lot of enemies, right? So I thought that was an interesting character to look at for this. Okay, I don't want to just give like the bad characters all as Scorpio, but I feel like because he's such a dark character really deep down, I have to do Scorpio again to go with the mysteriousness. Like, no one really knows Simon. I feel they don't really know the real him, and he hides that away. On this website I'm looking at, it also says determined, ambitious, and obsessive, and I feel like that's definitely what he is with his app and kind of like his plans that he has. He's obviously determined, but then he's also kind of obsessive. Like, why are you so obsessed with like other people's secrets and revealing them? Like, it's kind of creepy. And I feel like he wouldn't do what he does unless he was like a really emotional sign. So I think it does fit that he is a water sign like Scorpio. So I don't know, this was a tricky one, but I'm just gonna go with Scorpio for him. Okay, I think we've had like one of each sign except for Taurus. Like, I don't know why I'm not seeing a Taurus in any of these characters. Kira Anderson. So this is probably our last character from the Beartown series. So Kira is the mother of Maya, who is one who is assaulted in Beartown, and the wife of, I forget his name, but he's like the guy that runs the hockey team. But she, so as much as she is, you know, a wife and a mother and has these sort of duties, she also is a lawyer, and she's a very good lawyer, but she's had to put her career on hold so much for her husband's career and for her family because, you know, her husband running the hockey teams, he's traveling around a lot and stuff like that. So her career is definitely taken a hit, but she actually is a really hard worker, really ambitious and passionate about her career, but she's also just had to make those sacrifices that so many women make. So I actually really love her character, and I think that's why I included her here. Immediately, because of that work ethic and everything, like, I think of a Capricorn with that, being so determined and like focused on your job. It gives me Aries vibes as well, being kind of like a leader, and she is a little bit fiery. You know what? Capricorns are also leaders. So yeah, I'm gonna say Miss Kira is a Capricorn. We've already discussed the characteristics of a Capricorn, and I just feel like she does really fit that. So still no Tauruses. And our final character, I know who it is. It's Will from The Sun and the Star, aka the book about Nico and Will. aka from the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. So Will is very sweet. He is a son of Apollo, which is the sun god, and he kind of embodies that. He's really happy, bright, optimistic, kind of the yin to Nico's yang, like they're two sides of the same coin, blah blah blah. But yeah, so he's very fun, sweet, optimistic. Okay, which sign is that? I'm gonna go with Gemini for him. I feel like they're very easy to get along with. Like Will, pretty curious, optimistic, just what I was describing about Will. I think it fits for him to be an air sign, just very like flowy, go with the flow, easygoing, chatty, blah blah blah. So yeah, so Will, our final character, is going to be Gemini. Very interesting round this time. As I said, no Tauruses, which is interesting because I feel like normally I give out Taurus a lot. That's a sign I know pretty well as it's a part of my chart, and I have known quite a few Tauruses, but let me know if you disagree with anything I said down below. It's all a little bit arbitrary and up for debate, but I would love to hear from you. If I did this again, what characters would you want me to put into my cup? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not already, be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on Goodreads or my Bookstagram account to get updates from me in between videos. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!